Hello, welcome to the Honest Wargamer. I'm your host, Rob. We're your hosts for this list review show for an Age of Sigmar TTS event that's occurring tomorrow. Hello, everyone in the chat, and I'm joined by Mr. Owen Jackson. We got it. So everyone, please keep your applause quiet for Owen as he comes in. The crowd goes wild. Owen, how are you? How's your head?
Bad. We've just been talking about this, haven't we, Rob? We're both a little Warhammer fried.
Yeah.
Me
and Owen both woke up this morning to do our list reviews. So both independently sat at our computer with a cup of tea in our pants, looking through 82 lists. And I'm just going to let everyone know right now, hated it as an experience. Again, I would like to compliment the German event that happened last year, where they outputted everything as PDFs into their own, not only their own Grand Alliances, but also into their own factions. It was brilliant. Like, jumping around is not fun. So I'll be emailing the tabletop.to guy. He'll probably ignore me, but I'm going to email him 52 times to sort that out. That's gonna be...
I'm going to email him 82 times, once for every one of the pissing lists. No, it's been fun, but yeah, my head hurts now, Rob. I'm sure yours hurts a little bit as well, right? Lots of information to take in, yeah.
Yes, it's actually loads and loads of information to take in, but exciting. So what we're talking about is we're going to be talking about the lists that are happening at the Hammertime 7 event, which is a tabletop simulator event, which we're going to be live streaming tomorrow on the Honest Wargamer, so you guys can watch it live. So we're doing, we've looked at all the lists and we're having a breakdown. What we're not doing is reading through all the lists, because that's the worst thing, because what you do is you say, great guy, great list, and then you move on. Instead, it's more of an overview, which is quite cool, and looking at general trends that are occurring. Now, Owen, is this the largest TTS event to date?
Yeah, I think so. We've basically got like quick maths. I think we've got like over 125 people for the weekend.
Wow.
So we're going to look at, so Hammertime 7 has 82 players, and then hammertime-titans-of-ghur, so that's our slightly more narrative-driven event on the Sunday. We're going to have a look at those. Please stop. Please chat. Please stop.
No,
I really don't want this.
Don't stop chat. Don't stop chat. Don't stop chat. You got another shout out on Warhammer Weekly. Richie shouted you out on Twitter today. We all agree.
Really?
It's the Owen show, not the Rob show, and everyone's happy about that, right? There we go.
I hate it. I just want to talk about Warhammer. Okay, we're going to talk about the lists for Hammertime 7. Like you say, Rob, we're not going to go through every single one exhaustively because it gets pretty dull. And we are then going to have a little look at the Titans of Ghur lists at the end. I am Warhammer now. Holy shit. What I did think was, which would be nice, because people are clamoring for it, Rob. Oh my God. Okay, just can you sort of handle your crew or our crew, because they're going a bit.
I don't know if you really understand this, Owen, but I spent over 3 years developing an audience of salty, argumentative wankers who don't want anything other than to talk about the Warhammer that we all love and make a joke. So control them is not what I can do. All I've been able to do is corral them into a single place. Maybe to save the rest of the internet, maybe not. Yeah. I don't know, but I fucking love them. And you carry on making Owen feel great because he's brilliant. Yeah, love you all. Yeah, we're your crew, Owen. Yeah.
I love you all, really, and it's nice that people say nice things about me, so that is nice. But stop it, all the same. Bloody stop it now. Okay, never mind. I'm going to release the lists now, because I know that people are like, where can we find the list? Where can we find the list? So I'm going to just edit the event, Rob. Sorry. I'm going to ramble away for a second.
That's fine. You do that. I'm going to let you know that there are 82 lists, not a single piece of Chaos player. But there's no data to support whether or not they're good or not good. We've got some graphs for you, which I'm going to show you in a minute, which is really exciting. And there are some trends. I'd also like to shout all the people that left little notes on their tabletop, on their list entry, which made me laugh. Tim Martin, I'd just like to thank you very much for your, in 2024, this will be the meta. Made me laugh a lot. Also the people who was the list that talked about how much each one of their units was in croaks, which made me fucking laugh. Yeah, I don't need that humour when I'm trying to do list reviews, but I loved it, so carry on all the time. I appreciate that. And then what else did I say? Yeah, generally good involvements in the lists. Should we look at the meta breakdown?
Yeah, why not? I have put the lists. There's a link to the lists in the chat if people want to follow along at home or read up. So yes, let's have a look. I'm not sure if you've got one of our documents that we've created. Man, there was a lot of work.
Yeah, I did.
This morning, wasn't it?
I did. It's just
a lot of stuff.
It's vanished. Have I just closed it? Like a cocoon? No, there it is. There it is. You just can't minimise it, apparently. Give me a minute, Owen. There we go. Right. Oh. Podcast guys, by the way. Love you. Loads. Hope you're well. Right. List breakdown. Yeah. Here's a representation. Let's go for it. So the most popular army by a country mile was the Disciples of Tzeentch, which is wild, right? Wild. And lots of...
Yeah, I mean...
Go on, Owen.
Sorry, Rob, I'm rambling there. There is I just going to make a joke. I was just going to say what's better than rolling dice, and that's just picking them, right? Good old cheater dice.
Picking them is always the answer.
When you want to do that really important thing, and you just just pick them out. There you go. That's easier.
And like everyone in the chat says, to be fair, cheating is pretty good, and I agree.
Yeah, I need to make a point on that. That's the Gutsman not bringing his iron guts for once. He's bringing Tzeentch and the cheater dice, if I'm not mistaken. But that's fine. You know, we all need a little dip in the filth every now and again before we go back to what was our true calling.
We do.
But yeah, that's it. Tzeentch, top of the tree.
Well, and followed very swiftly by Daughters of Khaine, which I think is honestly fascinating. Like, it's come up a lot. Like, Seraphon, obviously, kind of top pick for taking out events, but Daughters of Khaine, obviously, in real life, took out an event recently. There is a copy of the Bring Your Dingy list available. Like, someone's playing that, running that anyway. Quite a few, like, well-known players. I think Collie Cochrane's playing Daughters of Khaine, which I think is really exciting. One of the interesting things about the Daughters of Khaine pick, we'll go back to Tzeentch in a moment. One of the interesting things about the Daughters of Khaine lists, I thought, Owen, at least, was the fact that, like, I was like, when I did the Daughters of Khaine review show, I was like, I think there's going to be a conversation that people are going to have about the increased points cost of Morathi and whether or not she's going to make it in the list or she's not going to make it in the list. And currently, based on the past few events and also based on all the lists we've seen here, making it into the list always, apparently.
Yeah, not a problem. Yeah, that sort of unkillable, well, not unkillable, but very hard to kill duo of pieces that like support the list and support the army, and you can throw Morathi forward and all the different things you can do with her. I think, yeah, you're right. There's 8 lists and 7 of them have Morathi. There's only 1 that doesn't. So I think it's a pretty safe bet for 600 points, right? You've still got 1,400 points left to go and win objectives and dominate the board. So yeah, it's not surprising to see her pop up. It's and it's also shows the strength of the book now that there's a lot of variety in the way that they're built. People can go, witch heavy, sisters heavy, or go snake heavy. So yeah, there does seem to be some variety once they've got the Shadow Queen and Morathi Khaine in.
Yeah, no, I agree, and there's loads to unpack there. I think there's a couple of other interesting trends coming off the back of the Daughters of Khaine lists as well. I think a lot of people in the chat wondering what this thing to the left of us is on the screen. If you listen to the podcast, you won't see it, but this is actually data. It might be the first time as Age of Sigmar players you've ever experienced it. We apologise for the shock that you might be feeling. Just have a drink of water, sit down. Try not to be too stressed by it. Like, it's...
Is that what I've been doing all morning then? I've been typing and there's been like numbers and bits of information. Is that what they call the data?
The data. The data. Yeah, so please don't react too badly. So Daughters of Khaine, let's quickly just fly through those lists, Owen, if it like a little bit, just as a quick overview, as you guys can see that they're down there. So there's 4 Hagnar lists. 3 of them are Calibron. There's also a Drychi Ganeth, which made me cry laugh when I read it. Was it 5 Hagnar, 3 Calibron, and a Drychi Ganeth, I think is the one. When I read the Drychi Ganeth one, I was like, what the fuck am I reading? Like, honestly, like, I thought I was having a stroke. And so I stood up for a minute, had a little walk around. But yeah, it's in there, and it's going for it. But like some common themes, Marathi in all of them, other than that Drychi Ganeth list. Sisters Slaughter, very common. Witch is very common. And I think one of the most interesting points, and this will also apply when we talk about Cities of Sigmar, is the rise, the absolute meteoric rise of that unit of Shadow Stalkers. They're everywhere. If they can be allied into a list, Owen, they're in there, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it was kind of like they're the 2021 of Tree Shadow War, and because a lot of them ally in the Shadow Stalkers, and they're a nice round 100 points, so they're quite easy to squeeze in. They pop up everywhere, don't they? And you're right. I think whether it be in like cities lists or obviously daughters, can go into. I think they can go to Deepkin, perhaps. I'm not sure, but yeah, amazing little unit. Who'd have thought it? -1 to hit in melee, free teleport every turn. The hero's a little combat beast, does mortal wounds. Yeah,
shocking.
That's good, right?
Shocking, it's good.
That's really cracking.
Yeah, I am shocked.
Morgan was right.
Morgan was right. Please do remember he was right. So yeah, and they're everywhere. They're also in Cities of Sigmar lists as well, which I think is the important part. Anything else you want to say about the Daughters of Cain?
Just the fact that there was a couple of Viperic Guard builds turning up. I think mainly just because now I'm not sure whether they needed much CP in the past. The Daughters builds, they seem to be relying on a lot of the buffs from the witches and the priests, and it wasn't like something that you needed CP for, but having Marathi in there and having that shoot in the hero phase or fight in the hero phase, people seem to be leaning into the odd battalion to get their CP up to allow them to do that. So that was one little trend. So yeah, there's a couple of Viperic Guards in there, but
I haven't seen anyone running 10 plus units of Shadow Stalkers. Normally I see at like 1 or 2 seem to be going in there, but maybe we'll see the rise of them like we saw the rise of Chameleon Skinks, who are all over the place. But if you are thinking about playing Daughters of Cain, obviously they've got a new book coming out soon, so interesting whether or not that's going to consolidate those into them. If not, that Warcry Warband seems like a really solid pick. Also making it into a lot of Also making it into a lot of
1 second, Bob, actually.
Okay, no problem. You picked some up, did you, Owen?
Yeah, can confirm that. They're going to find a way into a list for sure.
So the stonks is big on the Daughters of Cain, on the Shadow Stalkers. So you guys want to get in on those on the ground floor. Tell your local mates that you've always been into them. That'll work for you well. But Disciples of Tzeentch, jumping back there, Owen. 11 Disciples of Tzeentch lists. What did you think of those?
I mean, it's a great book. I think that's all we can say, really. I think the fact that we talk about internal and external balance. Oh, by the way, can we start calling them K-Night Shadow Stonkers now? After you say
K-Night Shadow Stonkers, absolutely. Yeah. And like Broccoli Boy had said in the chat, I always wanted to paint them. They're such nice.
Yes.
It's true. The narrative of them is excellent. So, So K-Night Shadow Stonkers. I just love their lore. Me too.
Really nice. Yeah, great painting project, guys. Great painting project.
So off the back of the Daughters of Cain and talking about Marathi, big centerpiece model, had a War Scroll update. Now, it was taken before, but now super popular. Moving into these Tzeentch lists, lots of Archaeons. He also makes it in some Slaves to Darkness lists when we get to that in a bit as well. Another big centerpiece model having a really big effect in the game. You got any kind of thoughts about the Archaeon? We've seen it play so well before anyway, right? We've seen it play on stream, and we've seen that same list that we saw on stream where it's Hos Arcanum, Kairos, and then also the Great Brave Shaman is here and playing at this event. So that's in there. There's also a bunch of other lists. Did you have any kind of thoughts on Archeon in these Inch lists?
Yeah, I mean, I think I first saw him played by Mark Wildman at Slaughter. I've made reference to that list and that amazing game that he had with JJ in the first round. And I think from then on, I think I've been super impressed about how you can just slot him in. I think being -1 to hit, regardless of in melee for when you pop him in Zinch, and then all the different ways that you can build him. So, you see that Arcanum build where he gets the pre-game move, which you've talked about and we've seen on the stream. And then you also see him in Host Duplicitous where you can't retreat from him, which is pretty obnoxious. And then, he synergizes really well with all the spells. I think you see Infusion Arcanum as a spell choice on him quite a bit, which is the +1 to hit and wound. He works really well with all the agendas. I think after looking at a lot of different ways to build Archeon, I would say that if you want to play Archeon and have potentially win tournaments, then I think putting him in Zinch is the way to go. But I think probably, Rob, my one trend with Zinch is there's actually one model which pops up even more than Archeon in the Zinch builds, which is the Fate Weaver himself.
Because of that command ability,
Kairos.
right? Kairos. Sorry, not the Fate Master. Kairos is making it into a lot of lists. I wonder why. Like, have you got any thoughts as to why? He's also in a Guild of Summoners list, which made me cry laugh. Like, I was like, brilliant. This is fun. You got any thoughts as to why Kairos is in there all the time? It's just because he's brilliant.
Beyond the fact that he's brilliant, I think because he learns the spell. Just basically, he's got great war scroll, and I think his spell is so obnoxious, especially in a shooting meta, that you can just flat 6 mortal wound something and then turn it into a spawn, which can then tie up a unit of sentinels or something like that. I think that spell through a portal is just another control element. Yes, and as Colonel Cabbage says in the chat, because Kairos means less dice rolling, more dice choosing.
More dice choosing. Yes, and I agree with you. That flat 6 mortal wounds super useful in a Host Arcanum. So he's got that little movement, so he can get in there a little bit closer. A lot of spell portals available to. I'm seeing in the Zinch lists as well, which I think is a standout. Also, a little bit talking about endless spells or spells in general, spell power casting in quite a few of these Zinch lists, and then in the Slaves to Darkness list, a rise, big sharp rise in the Darkfire Demon Rift. Being taken in different lists. There's a whole bunch of Mark Zinch Chaos Sorcerer. You've got Chaos Sorcerer Lord on Manticore in some of these lists. You've got there's a bunch, and Demon Rift being included, I think, is interesting. I wonder, do you think it's because of Lumineth? Do you think, or it's just a great spell to have inside of a Zinch book anyway?
I think in Lumineth it really ramps up the potential mortal wounds, but even so, when you put him into Zinch, you've got enough wizards yourself, and perhaps you're playing a change host and you've thrown pinks forward, so there's another wizard. Like, it's kind of like there is the perfect set of conditions where it does whatever D3 plus 10 mortal wounds or something obnoxious. But yeah, I'm surprised by actually how far it moves as well. And then I'm just trying to think. Even though it's a Slaves to Darkness endless spell, could you Destiny dice that onto the board if you're casting it through a Zinch? Yeah, I suppose
Yeah, because it's your allegiance. Yeah, so if you have a Slaves to Darkness wizard in a Zinch army, you can Destiny dice it on.
Obnoxious. And then I think we're still seeing a couple of Eternal Conflagration. 20 pinks, 9 flamers, change host. That sort of, we talked about it.
It's a tournament winning list available right there. And I absolutely agree with you. I got to say though, standout for me. I was going to talk about it later, but I can't not talk about it. It's my favorite list of the event. And if you don't like it, then you're just going to have to deal with it. But it's Host Duplicitous, 50 pink horrors in the Multitudinous Host. It's amazing. 2 characters. Gaunt Summoner as well for an extra 5. So it's actually 55 pinks. Also, Life Swarm. Life Swarm is in the list as well, which is just 11 out of 10. It's horrific. It's 250. No, that's not right. It's 275 wounds of pink horrors. Of horrors, not including the brims that he also has to bring as well in the list. So nearly 300 wounds, and then Life Swarm. Oh baby, that is.
Yeah, the player who's bringing that, his name on Discord sort of translates as sexual cheese, which kind of describes the list as well, I think.
I love it. Mere Mouse in the chat is actually genuinely angry at me. It's not. I didn't write the list. I just said I picked it out as my favourite because it's horrific. More Genius host, if you guys don't know. The two little things. Host Duplicitous, if you've not played against before, you can't retreat. If you guys watch the excellent show by Vince on Wednesday about MPE, not a lot of people big fans of not being able to do stuff in the game. And then follow-up, you can also, Multi-Tuners host means you can also additionally heal into units as well. So Life Swarm, I mean, I'd go for broke and I'd end up taking Full Reality in there as well, Owen. I'd go all the way.
Yeah, and then I'd laugh my arse off when you roll the 1, baby. Just get him off the table. Get out of here. I love it. Mere Mouse, you're an accessory to being a twat.
I agree. Yeah, that is true. All the lists are up, so you can go and look at them, and Owen has put the link in the chat. Those are the Tzeentch lists. A lot of people are a big fan of a unique list. That Guild of Summoners list is pretty unique, right? Being able to summon in some super bin chickens would be super cool. Also, I'm seeing Varangard allied in, or just put into lists outside of Knights of the Empty Throne as well. Or you got any feelings on this?
Yeah, I think I like them in the Host Duplicitous build. Like, if you can get those 6 Varangard in and they're all tanked up, I believe that in that there's one that does have the necessary War Shrine to make them super obnoxious. So I like it. I think there's a Host Duplicitous with Kairos, and it's quite mortal heavy, and that's the one where it's got the 6 Varangard. Just when you really, really positively need to pin your opponent in place, right? Just stay there.
But it's interesting. Again, it's the most populated faction at the event. 11 of the 83 players are playing Disciples of Tzeentch, and there are some similar lists that we've seen before, but a lot of people experimenting. Chaos Warriors in there as well, which I think is just wild. We're even seeing 60 Carrick Acolytes. There's like a bunch of people trying stuff out in the Tzeentch book. Obviously, those cheater dice super helpful, but everything else, that's what they're called now. Like, I'm with you. We'll just call them that. The cheater dice super helpful. But yeah, like, I could see why, and also I feel like that they at least have got some counter to what I think might be the best army in the game. And it isn't Seraphon. I think it might be Lumineth. I've kind of said this to you before, Owen. I said this to you earlier. Like, I feel like it might be Lumineth, but we're seeing the skill cap, or the amount you need to play Lumineth, like, starting to affect games. I think we're going to see more and more Lumineth do better and better as time goes on, as people experiment with it. I don't know what you think. So maybe Tzeentch being able to unbind so much, use some cheater dice to stop some of those key spells. Maybe that's one of the reasons we're seeing so much Tzeentch on the board. Or they're just brilliant, right?
Yeah, they're just overall brilliant, and they do counter. I mean, they are very much a mid-range kind of army, though, and they do like to have those fast heroes because they pull your pants down late game by using things like blue scribes and the 16-inch flying move things to like summon in behind you. But yeah, I think especially with Host Arcanum, 3 automatic unbinds could really get rid of those clutch spells. And also they are good, I think, into Lumineth because they shut down all the bravery shenanigans because they're generally a lot of demons. So, they're that bravery 10. So stuff like Voice of the Mountain and those kind of Darkness of the Soul, those kind of the control element of Lumineth doesn't work so well on those bravery 10 demons. So, yeah.
Should we take this conversation back up to 80,000 feet and actually look at the meta? Because I kind of dived right in straight away. I was so excited. I apologize. Actually, Chaos and Order, as always, some of the two Grand Alliances, with the most players. But, and then Death right at the bottom with Ogre More Tribes in 3rd place. It's just there's more sub-factions available. There's more factions basically available to those two, so it kind of makes sense, right?
Yeah, and I think they're also what are the latest books, right? Daughter's got a nice update. Seraphon got a new book. Idnith got a nice update. Zinch got a relatively new book. Slaves isn't too old. It's only really thinking about it. Maybe Bone Reapers have 3 armies there, and they're, I suppose in COVID times they're a relatively still a newish book, isn't it? And the same goes for More Tribes and the Orruk War Clans books. But yeah, it's no surprise that the newer books are getting more representation because, I think power creep is real, right? I think it is real. It's going to be. They want you to buy the new stuff so they make it better. So that's why we're seeing.
Generally true, yeah. That's absolutely. I mean, I don't know what happened with Nighthaunt at release, but that's a different conversation. But there is a Nighthaunt player here as well, and big love to that. I think that there are 40 Hex Wraith in that list in a Dolores Guard, which I think is really fun. There are some notable examples of armies missing. Legion of Asgore, not in there. Gutted. Absolutely gutted. Beast of Chaos also not there as well, which I think is interesting. No Gloomspite Gits, which is pretty wild and rough. Only 1 Flesh Eater Courts. There's only 1 Legion of Nagash via Legion of Blood. So yeah.
And you didn't even bloody mention Sylvaneth, did you, Rob? It's not even part of the conversation.
They're in it. There are 2 Sylvaneth. 2 Sylvaneth players in this. And they're both different as well. One is a Heartwood bow spam list with I think 5 or 6 by individual 3s. The reason you normally see individual 3s is the Huntmaster, so that the one guy he actually gets +1 to hit, so it's more economical to just take them in 3s because you don't get any cheaper units for Sylvaneth if you take loads of them, right? That would be nice. And then the other one is played by a friend of the show, Math Mallow, and he's taking a Dreadwood Sylvaneth, Dreadwood 2x6 kind of hunters list. And is there that's what's in the list. But it's 2 Sylvaneth though. I'm with you. Yeah. I love them. I'm with you. Right? And it keys into that conversation again about big models. Archeon everywhere, Marathi everywhere. When we get to it, tech lists all over the shop. Alarielle, not even a sniff. No. not even a whisper.
Not a fucking dryad in sight.
And weirdly, even after the FAQ update, a couple of good things about the FAQ, though. Obviously stopped Marathi going on that bear win, vital. And that Briar Queen update, so that is officially a wizard now, weirdly not affecting the meta right now. Maybe there's some lag until we see it hit the tabletops, but only time will tell.
Yeah, it's a big thing for us all to sort of soak it in and then allow it to then lead. Always after the FAQ, there's just so much information to take in, and then you only really see that list that sort of coming into the list design later, isn't it, Rob? It takes a few weeks, so I think this is a bit early. It's kind of like it's not quite soon. It came a bit too soon for us to really see what those FAQ changes.
Yeah, next Hammer Time, everyone gets an Alarielle for free? Great question. Great question. Hawkeye, thanks for subscribing. Also, thanks to everyone who subscribed. I've got too many tablets open the data to actually see when someone subscribed, so thank you so much. Thanks also to Hawkeye for the little tip about 0.8. He knows what I mean. Right, okay. So, did you have any takeaways about the the overall representation of factions that we're seeing?
Other than the stuff that's got good new rules tends to be brought when you say to people this is a pure competitive tournament. I think the fact that this was kind of, because it's part of this Hammer Time weekender, so we've got this competitive event on the Saturday and then this more narrative fun event on the Sunday. I think that has really meant that people have gone all in on what they consider to be something that's super competitive. I think that is why you are seeing things that don't survive in a shooting heavy or magic heavy meta are not being seen. So we've got I believe it's Tim Martin with the 1 Blades of Corn. Obviously a hero. It's a great list.
It's a great list. Has he got 24 Blood Crushers and 3 Skull Cannons? He said it's the 2024 meta, and I don't want to argue with him, if I'm honest.
Yeah. So it's no, so it is a real shame that you're not getting to see those armies. And also, I think that people really love. It's no surprise, but people really love when the thing does the thing. So when you think about cheetah dice, or you think, sorry, destiny dice. So you got things like destiny dice. You're seeing a lot of sire builds for Lumineth because they like that ability to go, okay, I'm going to re-roll that now when they choose, or they like Seraphon because you just go, okay, I can teleport that unit without any need for any resources. Do you know what I mean? Like those the low risk plays, or the things that they can guarantee that happen, rather than having to rely on loads of synergies, or having to rely on dice. That's why you're seeing those armies do again. Deepkin is they're incredibly efficient now. I'm lined up to play Seb in the next round of the Butcher's Tribe tournament, and I've been researching into those Fwathan builds that we're seeing. Again, if we talk about, maybe we'll talk about. Do you want to talk about Deepkin now, Rob?
Sure. Yeah. I'm just going to fire off and let everyone know what's in order, and then maybe we could just go through most of order. So Daughters of Cain, they're at 8. Seraphon is 7. Idoneth is 6. Cities of Sigmar is 6. Lumineth is 6. KO is 4, and interesting that KO are here. We'll get when we get to them. We'll have a talk about that. And then Sylvaneth 2, Fire Slayers 1, and it is not like there's still 40 Hearthguard Berserkers, but it's not like on the money Fire Slayer build. Like it's a little bit different, so that's fun to see. But yeah, let's talk through it. So the IDK lists, a lot of Futhwan, right?
Yeah. And I think that with that, basically, you get you get run and charge on the 4th battle round rather than retreat and charge, and you get lots and lots of rerolls. I believe that you get reroll 1s to hit, and you also get reroll 1s to wound for all the mounts. And then when you factor in the fact that you've got your Leviathan giving the +1 save, and then you've often got an aspect of the Storm who's giving out the +1 to hit. There's lots of 2s re-rolling 1s everywhere. Yeah,
lots. And there's also a lot of you can't pile in, and there's also a lot of we strike first, and there's also a lot of which I thought was interesting. There was like a traditional list in there, which was just all Morsar Guard, but a lot of Ishlan, like way more popular, making out either 3x3s. But yeah, a lot of Ishlan in that list as well. Which I thought was super fascinating. And then even there was the one list I liked, the Idoneth Deepkin one, which was Futhwan, which was an aspect to the sea, an aspect to the storm, Geminids, which kind of terrified me to see that in an EO list. I was like, no, you're not allowed that. The 3x3 Ishlin, and then the 30 Thralls, 2 Sharks, and a Leviathan. And I was like, that's pretty much the model range. I was like, that's actually, like, if you've got the book to the place where people are writing lists that have got a bit of most of the stuff, I'm like, probably because most of the stuff is all bent, but that's, they've like, that's, I wasn't looking at it and thinking, you're doing this wrong. I was looking at it and thinking, yeah, that works as well. Like, which is pretty amazing, really.
Yes, it's like when you turn up at the seafood restaurant and you get your menu and you're like, sweet. Okay, so yeah, the prawns look good and the sea bass. Oh yeah, and I do like mussels. And oh yeah, look at that seafood risotto. And I always like some sardines. So mixed fish platter, please, gents. It's kind of like choose what you want, right? Because it's all really good. It's all fast. It all flies. There's bits of shooting. It's tanky. You have to shoot at the closest unit, and then it wins the game on turn 3. So it's kind of like which models do you want to push around and do that with, basically? I'm being silly, but yeah.
No, you bang on, and I think one of the reasons we're seeing them taken so much, we're even seeing them taken as allies, right? We're seeing a whole bunch of Sharks being allied into different units as well. Cainite Shadowstalkers, great allies, and also in their own army. Sharks also being allied in as well. And another ally that we're seeing pop into a bunch of different combos, I know that you've got it in there, is that Aether Wing Long Strike combo, or just Aether Wings generally.
Yeah, we saw it with the Russian ETC Seraphon list where they had 2x3 Aether Wings and then the long strikes. And this is popping up in a Fuethan list. It's a great list actually, and people will have fun with this. So it's an Achillean King, 3x3 Ishlean Guard, and then 10 sharks and 5x2 sharks and then some long strikes with the so 3 long strikes with the Aether Wings. But there's also Lotan. I've written it in capitals, Rob. There's a list with Lotan.
There is. Yes, there is. Hey, Tommy Butters, thanks for listening. Thanks, everyone, for joining us live, by the way. There's a Lotan list. I saw that. And that's with the 40 Reavers and the 30 Thralls, right?
Yeah.
And the triple Soul Render. So, actually, I don't know if anyone knows, but you can actually bring back some models in the Idoneth Deepkin list. Most people kind of have forgotten ever since back in the day. But, being able to... Do you think that that's going to be effective? It'll be interesting to watch, at least.
Oh, it just takes the piss, doesn't it? They've got so many good rules, and then you give them bloody summoning. They don't need summoning, do they?
They've got that as well. But yeah, Lotan being in the list, that's a meme list, says Tristan. Scott B reckons that it's a sign of the apocalypse. So a lot of emotional reactions to Lotan being in the list. Which I think
but no, it's cool, and you're right though. With the soul renders bringing back, you can bring back quite a lot, especially with the battalion. You can get back like 3 plus D3 of those little fishy fellas. So yeah, it's cool, and I think it's nice in a tournament this big, 82 players. Then you are going to see people wanting to, try the odd little fun thing. So yeah, good on them for taking more fan triple soul render.
Lotan the Never Chosen, as opposed to the Ever Chosen, is a great name. Right, let's jump over to Cities of Sigmar, because I think there's some kind of... So there are 6 Cities of Sigmar lists, and then of those, 4 of them are Tempest Eye. No, 3 are Tempest Eye. No, 4 are Tempest Eye, I got that right. And then there's a Living City and there's a Hammer Hall list. The Tempest Eye lists generally move around, but they've mainly all got Iron Drakes. I had an interesting question, actually. So one's got 30 Hammers, 30 Iron Drakes. One's got 30 Phoenix Guard, 30 Iron Drakes. One's got 3 Hellblasters, which I think is super fun. 3x1 Gyros, Gun Hauler, Cogsmith, Hurricaneum, all the stuff. I would say, how do you feel about taking Bridge in Tempest Eye? Because it's 100 points, and you're already pretty fast. You can run and shoot. I don't know if you need... I
think you still do. Having played against Mark Wilson was running Cities of Sigmar Tempest Eye with no bridge, and it's just the fact that Iron Drakes are crap if they have to move, and they only move 4 anyway. So the run and shoot is cute, but not on that unit because they want to stand still and they get basically if they don't move, and obviously when they move across the Soul Scrim Bridge it's a setup, not a move. So if they don't move and there's no enemies within 3, then they get double shots. So they get out of a unit of 30 you'd get 60 shots rather than 30, which is pretty, it's double. Simple maths. I can do maths. So I think if you're building, I like Endrin riggers in Tempest Eye to run and shoot and charge potentially, that kind of thing. Run and shoot. But I don't see the dwarves being that strong without Soul Scream Bridge, unless they're a castle, and then you've got lots of other stuff to send off. But I think the prevalent thing, regardless of whether it's Tempest Eye or whether it's Living City or Hammer Hall, and I played a game last night with 30 Phoenix Guard in my Living City list. You can't get away from how good Phoenix Guard are, because there's just so much that's crap bravery and no mortal wound save, and there's just, you look 11 Zinch lists, and also you've got a lot of mortal wounds coming out of things like the Lumineth Realm Lords. You need that one big block that can go and push an objective and take it and hold it. And I think the Phoenix Guard give you that. Especially, I like the Tempest Eye list, which has got. I'm playing with the Frostheart Phoenix combo, because you can basically, the Frostheart Phoenix makes them Battle Shock immune. Well, unanointed makes them Battle Shock immune, and the same size bubble gives off the reroll wounds to make them super killy. So it's Philip.
And also makes them -1 to wound.
Yes, precisely. Yeah, and that bubble of -1 to wound off the Frost Art Phoenix is 9 inches, and it's units, not models. So you can really tag and shut down with that. But yeah, I think the prevalent themes for the cities lists are Phoenix Guard, and then either a Phoenix of some kind or a Hurricanum, and then lots of bits and bobs. You do get a lot of gyrocopters and a gun hauler, and then 10 of these, and do you know what I mean? There's a lot of those MSU sort of builds.
There is. There's my favorite MSU build isn't here. It's in Destruction. I'm going to talk about it later because I think it's brilliant. But yeah, there's a lot of everything. But Tempest Eye makes sense, right? I really like the Hellblaster one list just because I think it's quirky and it's out there. The 3x1 gyros I think is interesting and fun. And then the other two lists, which I think are interesting. Well, I mean they're there and they're both interesting. The Living City list has got 20 Sisters of the Watch, 4 Fulminators, a Hurricanum. It's got like a full mix of like random bits, right? Which I find quite interesting. I don't know. You've been playing with Living City. You got any thoughts on this list?
Yeah, Sisters of the Watch are too expensive. I mean, with the way that I used to play that kind of thing, like I put 4 Fulminators in the list of the day, and I took them straight out again because they failed. 4 on the charge failed to kill 1 Puscoil Blightlord, which probably is just bad dice. But anyway, yeah, the reason why you see those Dracoth units, so people may have seen Desolators taken with is because the Stormblast 12-inch shot. They come on the board edge, they shoot, and then they move their 10 inches, and then they charge, and they're good on the charge. So I do like that. But Sisters of the Watch and the Hurricanum, so 20 Sisters of the Watch and a Hurricanum is 160, 320, it's nearly 600 points. It's 590 points. And that's going to be basically the Hurricanum Deep Strikes on with the Sisters of the Watch. They get 2 shots each, so that's 40 shots, 2s and 3s doing mortal wounds on 6s, and then they're on the board as a 6-inch move with a 5-up save. And I just don't... They don't kill enough because the shots don't actually have rend, so you really are fishing for those mortals on the wounds.
And as Grinaldi is saying in the chat, Sisters of the Watch are 20 points more than the Sentinels per go. And like you say, mortals on... and it's 5 wounds, isn't it? Like, you buy them in 5s, not 10s. Or do you buy them in 10s? I think
you buy them in 10s. There's no horde discount. So I've run 30. 30 is 480 points. Because you often find when you deep strike on with Living City, once they're on, like that's why Dirthu doesn't work, is because he's on the board and that's great, and he goes and wants something, and then you've just got a 5-inch move thing. And in a game where you need movement, I just find that the once the stuff's down, it needs to be fast. But I think it's still good, like 30 Phoenix Guard and the 4 Fulminators. I actually was running Tree Lords last night, Rob. Heard it here first. Tree Lords in Living City are the one.
Tune in next week to hear it last. I think.
Yeah. I'll have changed my tune. But no, those guys, they are 12 wounds on a 3-up save with a 6-inch move, and they get 4 attacks. I was playing it wrong last night. 4 attacks with D6 damage. Yeah.
3s and 3s, Ren 1. AP, Ren 1, right?
Ren 1, D6 damage. Yeah. Sure. Believe it, Rob. Believe.
I do. Take 2. Don't they take 3 wounds and lose an attack? I think that's true.
That's true, but then you can heal them up. Anyway, we'll talk about this later.
Okay, yeah, let's do that. The other list that's in there is a Hammerhall list. Yeah. So this is one of the winning lists from events in the past, where it's Frostheart Phoenix, loads of Phoenix Guard, played by Philip Kartiev. But he's changed it up a little bit, and he's decided to include 2x9 Shadow Stalkers in the list.
Again, yeah.
What's this? You're dropping Phoenix Guard for Shadow Stalkers. Should give you some in a Phoenix Guard list. Like, everything in it is designed to buff and help Phoenix Guard, and in it they're taking some other elves, so something to think about as well. Also, some great opportunity for everyone in the chat, just in case you're not wondering, to do some great modelling. You can paint them like Phoenix Guard. You can kind of do some cohesive basing. Another great opportunity for you guys to pick up 2x9 of those for some modelling potential, which I think is cool. Right, so we've done Daughters of Cain, although we've talked about the Bringy Dingy being in there, that build which we saw play. Fire Slayers in this list, Lords of the Lodge, 40 Hearthguard Berserkers, but 2x6 Engine Riggers in Hermdall. What do you think?
Yeah, I like it. I think it's obviously the strength is in the 40, but they do suffer from movement. So I think at CanCon we saw people taking like 2 gun haulers.
Yeah.
Uh, Henry Steele, blah blah blah. Get to the chaos stuff soon, Henry. Soon we will talk about the chaos stuff. But yeah, I really like engine riggers. 2x6, 12-inch move, 4-up save, shoot, can fight. I wish they had more attacks with their saws, Rob, but I think I'm
I
probably
don't.
asking for too much there.
I don't. To be
No?
honest, and it's Ren 2. It's a tiny saw. Makes no sense. Jaws on a big old dragon. Ren 1. But sure. That makes okay. But yeah. So that's the fire slayers. So Deepkin, we've talked about the Deepkin as well. Oh no, we haven't talked about the Deepkin properly. There's a Fall of Iodons, right?
Yeah, that's the one that we haven't touched on. That's going to be one of the ones that I talk about later, if you like. But yeah, we talked about Deepkin because we talked about Triple Soul Render. Yeah.
But the Fall of Iodons is in there. So normally at Hammer Time events and generally on Tabletop Simulator and TTO events, we don't see KO much. But apparently, one of the good advantages of being play on TTS is you can just Control C a unit and Control V it. Looks like these guys have pretty much done it with the army lists as well.
That's not fair, Rob. Come on. One of them doesn't have Warp Lightning Vortex.
That's true.
But yeah, they're all Barak Zilfin. So I think we can agree that probably that's the go-to. Obviously, is it Tubbs that plays Barak Thring?
Mornar. I think he plays Mornar.
Mornar, okay. And you have seen Thring pop up with Gotrek for the lols, but I think if you want to win an event, I do think that Zilfin hero phase move, throw a toxic triangular bomb of death into the middle of their army and then piss off and shoot everybody is pretty much a solid way to win probably 4 out of 5 games.
No data to support that, but yeah, like absolutely sounds like a plan. I agree with you. Yeah, 3 of the 4 lists have got that spell in a bottle with the Warp Lightning Vortex. The other one that interested. Well, I mean, they're all interesting. You've got one that's 3 frigates and an ironclad. You've got another one with an ironclad. You've got 2 frigates, 2 gun haulers, and 2x6 engine riggers instead of there being an ironclad, which I thought was interesting. The one that kind of took my fancy was the one that had 14 thunderers in an understrength unit. Which clearly are going in an ironclad with a unit of 6 and a unit of 3 riggers. You got any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think Thunderers are really good. It's like 18-inch shots, I believe, with their guns, and I'd imagine that they've kitted them out just with the athematic rifles. But yeah, Dave Fraser. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of KO, but I think that it's a great army. It's got its positives and negatives. I think it really relies on the double turn. I think, or not. Or it really. You saw. Actually, you didn't see that. There was a game recently where I watched a game between Simon Hall and Benjamin in the Butcher's Tribe, and it was basically such a thing like KO. Okay, if he doesn't win the priority here, he probably loses. And if he does win the priority here, he probably wins. There's a lot of that, right? It's just the amount of output and the fact that they can bounce around and go where they want. Yeah.
I think there's a great conversation about KO strength and then the quality of the priority roll mechanic in that they're horrible to face in a double turn, but they suck when they get double turned into. And then because they are a polarized army of only shooting pretty much, there is obviously some combat. Ultimately, what you end up with is like this very kind of like knife edge and like army that is very kind of like ironic unto itself and into the mechanics of the game, which actually kind of in some way makes sense. But whatever. Talking about everyone's favorite MPE elves, I'm honestly really interested in Lumineth at the minute. Really interested, which is weird, right? The book came out a while ago. But I think as I see more and more of these lists, I don't never see 30 wardens. There is one list with a 30 warden in there. I see 20, and I'm like, it's 20 guys, man. Yeah. And then I see like a 10, and like, or I'll see lists that's only 10s of everything, and there's only a 5 Dawn Riders. There's never a 15, and I'm like, what the hell? And then and people are confident they're putting those in their lists, and they're super super confident that 20 wardens will fight the earth, and it's blowing my mind, right? So
20 points more than Dryads.
what a difference a day makes, eh? So there are of these lists. I think there's 6. 3 of them are Sire, and then you have 2 Zytrek and 1 Eumetrica. The Eumetrica one is 30 Stone Guard, 3 times 10 in the Alarith Temple Battalion. There's 2 Stone Mages, and there's Avlanor as well, which is super cool. I really like to see that play. Actually, I think that would be very interesting. But it's everything else when it gets super techie. Is there anything that stood out to you from the Lumineth lists?
I think they're really good if you can play them well. There's no surprise that I'm not going to name drop any, but there are 3 sort of top players on TTS and in general that are running Lumineth this weekend. And I think that there was a bit of a narrative around it being a real players' army when it first came out. I do think that Sire is the one. Personally, because of the double Aether Quartz, you're effectively doubling your allegiance ability there, and you are seeing people build more CP into their list.
You can double stack it as well, which is just rough.
Yeah, it's bonkers. So, for example, if you are running Techless in Sire and you do get alpha struck by a load of dwarves with guns, you just go, okay, well, he's not got a 4-up save anymore. He's got a 2-up save. So I'm just gonna, hopefully hold on there. And I think I would like, actually, I think I can see Laurie in the chat. Can you double stack the Aether Quartz on an ethereal unit? Does the wording allow you? Because normally when it's ethereal, you can't add positive or negative modifiers. But I actually think that the Lumineth cheats its way around that, and you can add to the save and be ethereal at the same time, so you can get those wardens onto a 2-up ethereal save and then a 5++.
It depends on the wording of the spell. Normally not, because you can't add positives or negatives. Like cover, you can't jump into cover either, right?
Sweet. There's loads of no's in the chat. Thanks, chat. I think that would be super obnoxious if people could do that. So good. I'm glad you can't do that. I think the answer is no. Yes, that was pretty categorical. But yeah, I think Lumineth are a funny one. They when it first came out, loads of people played it, and it did really well. They got like 8 top 5 finishes in a quite a short period of time with TTS tournaments, and then they sort of dropped off a bit. I think some people didn't necessarily like the play style to play with just as much as playing against, but I think now it seems like it's just a treasure trove and like a super complicated toolkit with the way that you can add, because everything's a wizard, isn't it, Rob?
Yeah,
and everything
it's fucking Hogwarts up on that mountain. Like, everyone's just having the best time casting spells and fucking Wingardium Leviosa and their whole army right into the enemy, and it's the worst. But yeah, no, I think there's loads to unpack there. I think, like Stephen said in the chat, there's a lot that if you take away, which is what I did. If you go and listen to the review show when I talked about this army, I said that if you take away Technados, if you take away Tech Lists in the portal, then you've got a real army to play with, which is quite interesting. And I like the book as of itself. If you include Techless in the Technado, then you've got that in addition. So I feel like it's an army that you can play with and get better and better with over time. It's got loads and loads of little tricks available to it. The Cathalar is obviously brilliant. It's going to catch people out. Let's not talk, like in this list there are 3 different players who have allied in sharks with the inability to pile in, which is obviously horrific. So like that's added into a list that can already do a lot of stuff. WCP, half your movement twice. Make your army ethereal, make them have a 2-up armor save. Like, there's so much to unpack there. And being able to like shut that synergy down is hard. One of the interesting trends I thought was that we haven't seen, or in these lists at least, I didn't see as many Sentinels, like 20. I don't think there's even a 30. I think 20 might be the max in Sentinels, so not a lot of Sentinels that I've seen. I haven't seen anything more than that, which is pretty much like, that's beyond respectable, to be honest. Like, you kind of deserve a clap if you only turn up with 20.
Yeah, and I think that's fair. People are tending to fill out, the Oral and Legion with it. Good note there from Luke Willoughby in the chat. I have noticed that, which is that Lambent Light gives the Sharks 3 rolls to hit because it's friendly. And also Techless's 5-up aura is friendly. So you can get, you can ally in your not Shadow Stalkers. You can ally in your Shark and it gets a reroll hits and a 5-up DPR as well. So there's some nice little extra bits along the edge. I think my I told you these things. I do. Yeah, sorry. So props to
You're
Lloyd.
doing great, Owen. Carry on.
So what I would say is we have a lot of conversations about a good first army and perhaps a good second army. I reckon this is the first ever good third army. Do you know what I mean? Because
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
because it's I think what I would say is a cautionary note for Lumineth Realm Lords players is for the benefit of your opponent and the benefit of the 3 hour time window, and let's say 2.5 hour time window when we get to playing on the tabletop in real life.
Yes.
I think you need to know your shit because, like, I've seen some seriously procrastination heavy Lumineth hero phases. So yeah, a bit like old endless spell spam change host, where you've just got so many options. It's just you want to like galaxy brain the crap out of it. I think, I do think that having a set good system with like tokens for all the Aether Quartz and little token, a bit like a Hallow Heart. When you've got all your options with Hallow Heart, I think you need to be ready and prepped and organized. Otherwise, things can unravel, and it's hard to know who's got what buffs and who's used their Aether Quartz. And I thought they used it, and did they get the -1? You know what I mean? It's super technical and super involved. So I think I'm finished there. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I would agree. It does seem like that there's a lot of these games that take a long time to play. Also, Knights of the Empty Throne list somehow, but that's a different combat. But they all take a while, and so yeah, and it's not a TTS thing, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's not. The situation here is that they've got too many options. The Lumineth guys, like you say, everyone's a wizard, so it's some big hero phases, more than a Tzeentch list probably. Truth be told, a lot of movement, a lot of moving stuff around, like you say, keeping track of stuff. But my pick is for these guys probably to take out the event and to have some conversations. I think it's interesting watching the Shark allies are pretty horrific. That piling in, so like that not being able to pile in, maybe one of the worst rules ever written. But nice to see that included in the lists because it's going to be super applicable and very narrative, which is also nice. Really, really narrative, which is all I am now, a narrative gamer. So talking about one of my favourite narrative armies, the Seraphon, and move on to those guys. Nice mix with the Seraphon here, Owen.
Yes, yeah. Well, I mean, you say that. Yes, there's one of everything is represented at least. So yeah, there's Thunder Lizards, there's Kotal's Claw, there's Dracothian's Tail, and there are Fangs of Sotek. But I don't know. There's this one dead frog that pops up everywhere, eh, Rob? Good old
There is.
Croak.
He's in every list. He's
Okay.
in every single list.
But the room around me is on fire. The room around me is on fire. But everything's fine, isn't it, Rob? Everything's fine. Everything's... Those flames. Yeah, everything's fine.
Listen, narratively, he makes loads of sense. There are also 6 Croxigor, Ange. Good point for pointing that out, which I'm a massive fan of. So there's 2 Thunder Lizard lists. One's Triple Bastiladon, which I am all about. I'm really into that list at the minute. I think it's super fun. And then there's another Thunder Lizard list with minimum skinks, 4x10, 6 Crocs, 2x Little Sallies, a Basti, a Troglodon as well, which you rarely see the Troglodon combo with Croak, but you can still do it. It's still a thing. It's still available. So then you've got a Kotal's Claw list, which is the Saurus Knight's Fire Lance list, which we see a lot. So there's a Scarvet and an Old Blood on Carnosaurs. They're really good. There's 2 Dracoth Tail lists. One's got 6 Sallies, Skinks, and Croak. The other one's got Croak, Cold Blood on Carno, 80 Saurus Warriors in the Sunclaw Battalion, which I love. I thought that was a super cool list as well. And then there's a classic Fangs list with a big brick of 40 Skinks, your classic Croak stuff, and 20 Camo Skinks, which I thought was nice, right?
Yeah, I think that looking at these Seraphon lists, it makes me think very much of the Deepkin lists, in that you've got like a few key pieces that will make your army competitive, and then you just flavor to taste. Then don't you? You just kind of I'll have a few of these. You've seen Pitari in the Butcher's Tribe tournament rock up with 20 or whatever it was, 12 Pterodon riders, and that took out the tournament. So with a normal book, it would be like, oh, that's the strong thing, and we're all going to play that. Whereas there's not I think there's one. I think Tavi's list's got some pterodons in it as a little harrying unit, but it's amazing that there's 6 lists and none of them have lent into that one unit, which propelled that previous list to a big tournament win. So it's super. 60 point skinks.
Narratively fine. What the other thing to point out, thank you for bringing it up, is little Owen. You talked to me. I played against this the other day with you. Incanter and the old Arcanum Dias also made it into the list that's got the 6 Croxagor as well. Got any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I love the chunky little Stormcast wizard. Actually, that's popped up in a couple of others. I didn't detail it on, or we didn't detail it on all of the lists, but the either an Incanter or an Exorcist do pop up, especially in like some of the Cities of Sigmar lists. 12-inch flying move, 2-up save, 4 attacks, 3s and 3s, Ren 1, D3 damage. Yeah, my one last night did loads of work. They're great. I love them. So, I think that might be like, that's just like a kind of a little bit of an arrogant flex if a Seraphon player puts it in there, because they're like, I don't need 150 points. I'm just going to bring my little golden wizard and he's going to fly around. Do you know what I mean?
What's he doing here for? He's like, I just like the mechanic and I want to whip him around. Mainly he's an observer. He's like the NATO, while like
he's like quality control, isn't he? Right? Yes, boss. Lord Croak, yes, I can confirm that the skinks have indeed hosed off half the opponent's army.
Actually, excellent. Owen, I don't want to get too like conspiratorial and political, but obviously we know that Stormcast are really just working for big dino. As we know, like Dracoth, what's his name? Not Dracothian's Tail. Yeah, whoever helped Sigmar out. Stormcast really are just kind of like a front for Big Lizard. Most people don't really.
Every single Stormcast model I ever look at now I'm gonna think it's 3 fucking 3 skinks stood on each other's shoulders inside a big golden thing of armor.
I'm not saying they're all lizard people, but that's how basically the Age of Sigmar started. I mean, that's how the Mortal Realms came to be, because of a big space dragon. So, yeah. Anyway,
skinks in plate mail, love it. Yeah.
Big lizard, they're the worst. Right, so then last couple of order armies. Stormcast, there's an Anvils of Heldenhammer list. One of the interesting things about Anvils, normally, obviously, people see shoot twice in the hero, shoot in the hero phase, and people take it. I think a lot of people started to really like understand that you could also fight twice with it as well, fight in the hero phase, fight in the combat phase, and so you're seeing that. And also, I think just to upset me, based off of having to read Cleansing Phalanx last time, both lists have Cleansing Phalanx battalions in them, which is just upsetting me loads. One of them is in the Anvils list with the double Sequitors, and the other one is got a Stormkeep Patrol, and it's got, and I don't mean to be disrespectful, 2x3 Evocators on Dracoline, which I do not know what to make of, like, at all. That list, like, it just confounded me. And honestly, when I read 82 of them this morning, I just didn't want to read any more of that one list. Looks great, though, and it might be the list of, to be honest, it might be the list of the show. It might be my favourite list, Owen, because I have no fucking clue, yeah? And I don't want to learn.
Me and you both, I think, mate. But, yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what to say, really. I think they need some points changes. But, yeah, Anvils, I think he's got, like, 20 Sequitors, like 10 Evos. I think those fighting in the hero phase is cool, because they can do their zaps as well in the hero phase. The Dracolines, like, I want them to be good, man. I really want them to be good, because they're cool models. I've actually bought a box of 3 of those. But, yeah, I think they're 260 for 3, 15 wounds for 260 on a 4-up save.
Fly.
Yeah.
But they slap. They do slap. If they get in there, they slap. But they're not very survivable. I think it's a 4-up, not 3-up. So, like, yeah, they're rough. Ultimately,
I'd probably take 6 Incanters, each with a Deus Arcanum, to fly around. Before I took 6 Dracolines, probably.
Good.
But that's just me, Rob. That's just me.
Someone feed that back. But anyway, yeah. So that's fun that they're in there. And then there's the Sylvaneth. So we're done with order. It was a bit much, but fun. So we've talked. We're going to move on to Chaos now. Compare them to Varangard. I agree, Stuart. That's a really good comparison. And also, just play that is in fact Owen Jackson. So that's super lovely that he's here. Blades of Khorne. We talked about this. The 2024 meta of 24 Blood Crushers and 3 Skull Cannons in a Skull Seekers host. Owen in Reapers of Vengeance. I was like, whoa! Does he know something we don't? And the answer is no.
But they are. But Skullseeker Host does allow everybody to reroll wounds against monsters. So if he gets really lucky and rolls, he hits with his one shot on each of them at Archeon, and then he will hit wounds, and then it's -2 d6, and then he rolls 3 6s. He might kill Archeon with 3 skull cannons.
That's the future. That's how you do it. We've taught Tzeentch, so change hosts, Archeons for days. Only one Slanesh player with a Lurid Haze Archeon and then a Pleasure Bound Warband build. So that Lurid Haze is the War Scroll, is the White Dwarf addendum to an invade. I think it's Invaders, yeah. And having Archeon in there kind of makes loads of sense. We've seen this played a few times actually, both in real life and on TTS. So I'd be excited to see that do well. Last time I picked that as something that could do well, and I'd be interested to see that played again. Do you think, Owen?
I just want Richie or whoever it is from Just Play to stop putting that over the Owen Jackson. It's gone in like 3 or 4 times now, and I can't come up with anything interesting to say about these lists because I'm having to bat away people trolling me.
It's okay, don't worry about it. They're not trolling you because we've all discovered a new hashtag, and it's hashtag Owen fans. Yeah, that's the new hashtag. It's perfect. Sorry again. You're a brilliant person. You don't have to talk. There you go. You don't have to talk. You just have to be here.
Wow. Yeah. What were we talking about? I love Lurid Haze Archeon in Head Knights of Slesh. I love that build. I've seen that played quite a bit, and even if you just roll the 1 on your D3 units to deep strike, they just take 40 Marauders off, and then when they attack, like 6s explode into 3 hits, I believe, because it's a unit of 40. And Marauders go bang when in that Head Knights list. I really like that. I think the 2 Nurgle lists are very on the nose, very much what you've seen.
I mean, they're cookie cutter Nurgle, right? You got Blight Kings in Blightsist, and you got the Thricefold Befoulment, Triple Fatties, Be'lakor. I still can't believe that you go Triple Fatties, 30 Plague Bearers, and you're like, still got room for a cheeky Be'lakor in this list. It's like, what the fuck? And then you think, oh, that's enough for you, and they're like, no, 1 unit of Untamed Beasts. Just going to stop that alpha in case 30 Plague Bearers or even 2 10s aren't enough to screen. So love that list. I really like that list. I might Breakfast Battles that list because I just think it's got loads of fun toys in there as well. And it's a little bit more interesting than the Blight King list, ultimately.
Yeah. Munificent Wanderers, I don't think we've really talked about that a great deal, but it's bloody amazing. Like, I played against it last night, and like, just if you're within 3 inches of a demon unit, even if you're not fighting it, then it ignores -1 rend. So basically the whole army ignores -1 rend. And it's the good version, so it takes -2 to -1. It doesn't just ignore -1, it reduces all rend by 1 to a minimum of 0. And then that whole, like, having played Plague Touched a lot, then which is 6s to wound, do a mortal wound to you. In Munificent Wanderers, 6s to hit, do a mortal wound if you're within 12 inches of the Great Unclean One, who tends to have that one last gift on it. So I mean, it's rough into Croak or into any Seraphon, because they love blowing up demons, don't they? So
love it
into that, but it's very strong other than that. And
but to be fair, Prop Joe makes a point. 45 Blight Kings is actually super narrative, so we're into that, being a mainly narrative, non-data-based show. Moving on to Skaven. Interesting, the Skaven list, actually. One is like just traditional Skaven Tide with Arch Warlock. It's got 2x3 Storm Fiends. I actually weirdly fell asleep thinking about Storm Fiends last night, so I was looking to my life.
Wow.
2 lots of Bombardiers, and I was like, why are we not seeing more Storm Fiends? Because I was like, are they still great? And I was like, maybe. Do you know what I mean? Like, but 2x3 as opposed to your big brick of 6, which I think is quite interesting. And then the other Skaven list is 100 Plague Monks and 3 Plague Core Catapults, all in the Foul Rain Congregation, which I thought was quite interesting as well.
Yes. And
Yeah,
that's that's Mathieu, who turns up to every one of my events and always plays Skaven and is just like Skaven to the core. But he normally plays quite mixed lists. So actually, I was going to talk about this. I don't know if we're going to go and pick lists out at the end. Maybe we'll pick one or two and just have a chat. But that'll be one I'd like to talk about because he's got Epidemius in there as well.
yeah.
The Tallyman, whatever, to get some extra rerolls and stuff, which is cool. And those plague claws. I think this is a list that Mere Mouse Mark would definitely like this. I've played against all sorts of silly pestilence based lists with Mark. So yeah, I mean plague monks still slap hard.
Still slap hard. They do.
Yeah.
Slap emote. If we hit partner, we're 100% getting a slap emote. I promise. Because that seems to be our word for it does a lot of damage, and I'll take it. Slaves to Darkness. Moving on with those guys. There's 3 Knights of the Empty Throne list. See, I think it's a bit like Gangnam Style. Owen is what I was thinking. Obviously, at one point they were kind of the edgy underground, like it was, no one really knew about it, and then all of a sudden, very much like any of the killers, it's overplayed to the point where you should never have to hear it ever again. Ultimately. And that's the Knights of the Empty Throne list, still being played. You've obviously got a 6 in Plague Touch Warband. It's got 2 times 10 warriors and 10 knights. There's another 6 in a Plague Touch Warband with a Chaos Sorcerer Lord. And then I've just put random 8 other things. And then there's one that's got 6 Varangard and 2 lots of 3 Varangard. That one's being played by Mark Wilson. But that is not in the Plague Touch Warband. Interesting to see how the non-Plague Touch Warband does versus the Plague Touch Warband variants, right?
Yeah, I think Plague Touched. It's quite easy to get a plague touched warband, but it's quite expensive. I think if I remember correctly, they're about 180 points. So I do think that the splashing back mortals is incredibly strong. So I would probably invest in the battalion and get low drop and have the choice of going first or not. But yeah, it's very strong. It's being played in team tournaments, singles tournaments. People are painting Varangard. I'm in a couple of chats where people are buying into this. So I think definitely expect to see that. And obviously we had was it Dave Kerr in Australia? Yep. I want to say So it's definitely getting some traction, that list. And it's also quite low model count, and it's nice chaos models. People like the range, don't they? So it's not surprising that people are running that. There's a nice 6 circle list, which he's managed to get Archeon, Be'lakor, and 6 Varangard in. So I think that will, obviously there's not much board control there, but that'll be fun to play, and very much a good TTS army. And then I really like the Despoilers list.
No idea what's going on with that list.
No, there's a lot of stuff going on there, but I do like the fact that he's got 25 Chaos Warriors in a blob. So if he Masks of Darkness them forward and then gets the charge, whilst they don't have a Marauder charge, I do think... Please stop. Who is that? Oh, that's Antu. Just for you, Antu. I love you, man. So yeah, that Despoilers list is cool. I think there was a bit of heat around like 5 Demon Prince Despoilers lists for a little bit, about 6 months ago, and then that died away. Because they're good into the shooting meta because they can make things pitch black Nightmare Chasm, can't they? So they can make things overgrown and hide in them and whatnot. So I think that'd be fun to play.
It would do. I would say that some of the TTS boards, though, like I'd say a lot of Age of Sigmar boards are generally fairly sparse. Like I think actually it'd be very fascinating to see that being able to turn terrain pitch black when we will get smaller boards in Age of Sigmar 3 with potentially larger terrain footprints. There'd be a very interesting conversation about how that affects stuff then. But obviously there's so many other changes that are more likely going to happen. But one to watch out for, I think, is interesting. And then this is just a little one for me. Legion of the Chaos Ascendant is in there. Legion of the First Prince. My favourite bit is got 12 Kadai and 9 Kadai. I wonder how Legion of the Chaos Ascendant are going to do if you get rid of your Kadai, which, by the way, are still Chaos Dwarves, yeah? Or Chaos Dwarf is, like, adjacent. So none of you best be... All you Legion of Chaos Ascendant players best not be disrespecting Legion of Asgore. They're in there. That's a list, right?
Yeah, man. He's obviously dusted off his pamphlet and been able to, dig out those excellent rules. So yeah, I think Kadai in Legion of Chaos Centre is being seen quite a bit. I think actually talking of Antu, I think we watched Antu play on the stream in a previous tournament, in
We
one
did.
of
We
Adam's
did.
tournaments. Yeah,
Yep.
so Corruptor with the fourfold blade. Again, that can do some work, and then Kadai, 3-inch range, fighting on death, like loads of attacks. You've seen the Brick of 12 because you get the Horde discount for them, but I think I've never seen 21. Right, 21's pretty baller.
Got 21 Kadai to go. That's all I can think. Yeah, it's just so super happy with that. So those are the two largest representations, Chaos and Order. Then you've obviously got Destruction and Death. We'll jump over to Destruction because that's the crowd favorite, and you can't argue. And it's got maybe my favorite list of the weekend in here as well. So, and that is a mixed Destruction list. It's got Godrak in, Gatebreaker, and 3 times 20 Shooter Grots, and then 6 Gore Grunters, and there's some other MSU units as well. Sorry, they're all MSU, so the 6 Gore Grunters is that just the MSU list? No, that's the Big War list. Sorry, it has got the Big Bricker 6 Gore Grunters. And this is the thing that kind of made me laugh, because I read the list and I thought, oh yeah, Godrak's a fucking model. I forgot. When has he ever been? I was like, I completely forgot he existed.
And he can buff the hell out of these. I think that this is actually an Orkman list. I think this might have been what Orkman brought a couple of tournaments ago, and the player is riffing off Orkman having fun because Godrak he will buff it's destruction, isn't it? So he can give the extra. I believe it's extra attacks. His command ability. But yeah, I think it's cool, right? He's got 3 genuine threats and then a load of goblins with bows and nets to hold the backfield. There we go, +1 to hit. So he's going to put +1 to hit, which will really help that Gatebreaker, because the Gatebreaker has a lot of output, but his big attacks hit on 4s, I believe.
Yeah, there's a Gatebreaker in the list as well, which I did neglect to mention. Yeah, I think that the double combo, the toil and trouble of those two one pin together, which is fun, which really does feel like throwing good money after bad, and then you're like, maybe that'll work in this situation. What if someone's like, Gatebreaker, that's quite good. It's got quite good output, but what if we could make it a tiny bit better with an equally as expensive and also rubbish unit? Interesting. Let's give this a try.
He's going to stuff those words right down your throat, Rob. You wait. 3-0.
Can't wait. 3-0, baby. You've got this. 3-0. I can't wait. Big love on that list. I think that's super fun. There's a Sons of Behemoth list, Taker Tribes, which has got each one of the Mega Crusher variants, and then 3 times 1 Man Crushers. So be excited to see how that does in a really, really competitive field. I think that's fun. And then there is no Gloomspite Gits. So sorry. Nathan, if you're still listening, I apologise. And Ogre Tribes, you've got 3 Blood Gullets, which are all Urbad Stonehorns, and then there's a Thunderbellies list, which has also got a couple of Stonehorns in as well, well, at least 1 Stonehorn, but then it's got 9 Iron Guts. Has it got 9 Iron Guts?
No, it's got 4 Iron Guts and 9 Gluttons.
9 Gluttons, thank you, yeah. And then it's also got 2 times 4 Mournfang as well, so a little bit more of a mixed arms Thunderbellies list. I don't know if you had any thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean the Blood Gullet Yulbad. I think that's been settled on as being the sort of peak Ogre More Tribes list at the moment, the competitive build. There was a lot of Boulderhead before when we first saw that, and I think Boulderhead gives you the Beast Riders become battle line in that, don't they? So you end up with sort of just 5 monster trucks just to push around. But I do really like the Mournfang, I must say. They're really hard to kill. 6 wounds each on a 4-up save, and I think you don't give them the big hackers, you give them the clubs, so they do flat 2 damage, and then you're fishing for mortal wounds with Yulbad. I think it's really good, and it's a fun way to play the game. A lot of Blood Gullet Yulbad in the Tribe tournament at the moment, so I'm not surprised to see those pop up. Thunderbellies is a funny one. You played Chris, didn't you, on the stream with Thunderbellies, if I'm not mistaken?
I did, yes. Yeah, it's a funny one, but I agree with you on the Mournfang. I think there's a little bit more to unpack. They're just solid. They're not you're not like they're not wowing you, but they're solid. Which I think is super important as well. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing really breaking the mold here ultimately. But I think like that's because that book, which is a little bit older and doesn't have quite as many war scrolls, and a lot of those war scrolls aren't particularly strong. Like, or they don't really have like. I mean, I saw someone suggested Iron Blaster should have 2 shots in it, and I was like, yeah, that seems super okay with me. In a world of Bastiladons, I'm super okay with Iron Blaster having 2 shots as opposed to 1. Like I think some of those war scrolls could do with an update, and hopefully they do. But they're all solid lists, and they play really well and can be played really well. So then
there's one. Sorry, yeah, there's one that we didn't look at, which was the Bone Splitters in there, which was 120 Savage Oryx, so 120 naked dudes and 4 War Docs in Drakfoot, which is a proper swamp list, isn't it?
Oh, in the War Clans list, yeah. So 120 Uruks is just amazing. With the 4 War Docs is great. They're just dancing, pushing the boys forward.
Yeah, just dance around, have some fun. I do like. I personally prefer what's it called, Bone Gwins than Drakfoot, because Drakfoot ignores like after saves, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But then with the changes to the GHB, there's not so many stacking of after saves and stuff. So I'm not sure. Yeah, it's cool. I think 120 Savage Oryx is 240 wounds, right? And they're not got good saves.
I think like what's being said in the chat, it's a big old DPS check. If you're not bringing the damage, then you just lose. If you can't do the output, which is kind of interesting when you're talking about like the let's say the elite damage maybe that you're getting from Lumineth in some ways, and you compare that with like the raw output of something, let's say Plague Monks, Skinks, like that sort of like level of output is kind of like, they can go into that and do some work. But then there's the list that I'm really excited about, the Big War list in this, which is the MSU Orcs list, which is an Iron Fist, and it's just got min everything, basically, which I think is super fun. But that feels like there's a lot more like precise board control opportunities there. But then that if that plays into the Savage Uruks, you're like, you're not going to bring all of the pain enough to maybe take those wounds down. So I think that's a really good point and well put together. What did you think of the Maw-Crusher list with Maw-Crusher, 6 pigs, 30 Savage Oryx, but it's got the 4 big stabbers in there as well?
Yeah, I like that. There's a lot of good threats there. And that one didn't have the Iron Fist. It was the only one not to. I think the Iron Fist, again, we talk about Yule Bad in Ogres, or the Plague Touch cropping up. I think another one that's very much a staple of those War Clans lists is the Iron Fist. But yeah, I'm surprised not to see any Iron Suns. I still really like Iron Suns, but everyone's gone Big War. You know more about this book than me. I think it's fast, it hits hard. There's obviously war chanters everywhere in all of these lists. At least 1, if not 2 war chanters.
The most interesting bit from that for me was like everything else. Like Maw-Crusher, no Maw-Crusher. The mega bosses, the pigs are always good. The Savage Oryx are really just wounds on the board. It's 60 wounds that are pretty cheap. I liked the MSU. I like the MSU list a lot because I'd really like to see that play. Because it's just got lots of options, which normally that smashing and bashing is so useful. You load up on a big unit of 6 pigs, let's say, you war chant them up, then you could just basically just move both units like double turn 1, and you could just be really in someone's face. It's interesting to see that play in a different way. I'm not saying it's gonna do really well. It'll just be interesting to see it like reattacked. Very much like how when the book first launched, a lot of conversations were around the difference between brutes and Ardboys, and Ardboys basically won that fight, I think, for a variety of different reasons. But one of the other conversations was, do you play your Ardboys defensively or offensively? If we talk about Leo, Leo was using a lot of his Uruks really to control board space and engage in fights he wanted to engage in, other than like smash his opponent to death was the kind of like main focus. So it's a really interesting book because it has lots of output when it wants to, but really its survivability and its ability to tank and control the board is really, really important for that book generally.
Yeah, and I think Seb in the chat makes a good point because he's played against that quite a bit and played with it. I think the outside of the Maw Crusher, it's just -1 rend everywhere, and I think you need. It was especially when Petrifex was a thing. Like I just remember, beating players that I should have probably lost against just because the -1 rend that's just throughout all of the Oryx. It just doesn't do enough. And then I think now as well, what are they called? Not Starborn, Coalesced. Coalesced, say hi. War Chanters. Hello. My little skink with his shield. Piss off with your double damage or your 2 damage.
It's pretty rough. It's pretty rough
Yeah.
for them. Yeah, and like Nathan is saying in the chat, he's created a laser weird knob, and as Prop Joe's been saying as well. So you'd be able to take Wrath of Gork and then power it up, so it's going to do a load of mortal wounds as the kind of answer through a spell portal of all things. So loads. So then just quickly on to death. Final little bit here. There's a smashback list from Flesh Eater Courts.
Yep. A good one as well. I like that list. Yeah, very good. Hollow Morn, which I think I played Chris Welfare the other day, and he thinks that he's gone from Hollow Morn to Gristlegore back to Hollow Morn. So yeah, the Nuclear Vargle for the Smashbat. He's got 40 ghouls in that Flesh Eaters list, which I think 40 ghouls buffed correctly are a proper hammer. I really do rate them. And then yeah, you've got the Smashbat and there's a Terrorgeist in there. It's a nice mixed list, that one. You mentioned you like the Nighthaunt list, Rob.
I did, just because it's got 2 different battalions. It's got the Forgotten Scions and the Dolorous Guard. It's got the 40 Hex Wraiths. I just thought there's a lot to unpack there. I really enjoyed playing Nighthaunt this week. I think it's got lots and lots of options. I think though, as soon as it hits those Tzeentch lines at -1 to hit, it's game over. If you got, you can see why they're doing so badly, right? Tzeentch just have to be there, and they already pretty much take Nighthaunt out of the running. If they just cast Geminids, they're done. Like you're taking that, like -2 hit on that army is just it's just game over. I mean, -2 hit on most armies is game over, but it's a fun little list. I also really like Adam still running his Legion of Blood there. With his Vampire Lord and Zombie Dragon, 2 times 5 Blood Knights, and that Dolorous Guard battalion as well, which I thought was cool. And then the OCRX lists, there were some interesting ones, I thought. You've got the Staliarch list, which has got the Kavalos Lancer, that's the battalion, 15, 15, and 10 Death Riders, Archon and Kavalos in there. And then there's the Kata, Cross, and Nagash combo with like 2 times 5 Death Riders, like 10 Mortek, and some Geminids. What did you think of that?
Yeah, I've taken Katagash to a tournament once, and it is a lot of fun. It's really hard to play or hard to win with, but yeah, that's the way to get Nagash back on his 2-up save is to run him in Mortis Praetorians with Catacross. So, and then obviously it's much easier to teleport him now, so he can bounce around and spam mortal wounds. And yeah, again, Nagash with +1 to hit from Catacross will be pretty spicy. So yeah, good. I think they're not going to be buddies up together. I think Nagash is the missile, and Catacross is the sort of I'm looking after the home. But yeah, I would be very impressed if he managed to win more than 2 games, I'll say, because it's really difficult with all the missions. You just can't occupy enough objectives, I don't think, with 2x5 Death Riders and 10 Mortek Guard. But I like the Mortis Praetorians list, quite a bit similar to Arthur, South London Legion, Arthur Vulgaris. So Xantos, 60 Mortek, and 2 of the Mortek crawlers. I think having played that like a Petrifex version of that at the moment, it's putting loads of skeletons and 2 catapults on the board is actually really good. Even with all the shooting that's around, you can hold objectives and hopefully blast stuff off with the catapults and win. I'm sure the Staliarch's list is probably the one that you like the most, Rob. Would you say with all the Death Riders?
I quite like the no Catacross list with the 30, 20, 10 guard and the 2 crawlers. I like the Death Riders list. I do. I just think it just plays in such a singular way that there's anyway. So and that's all of the list. So what was your favourite?
I've got some notes here. I think if I was going to choose a list to actually win, um, I think it's going to be we've talked about it a little bit with Stephen Follows running it, but I really like Tavi Gaines. Well, I don't really like it. I really respect Tavi Gaines' Thunder Lizard. So Seraphon Thunder Lizard list. I can bring that up now. But yeah, it just goes to the core of our argument around about what you can get in a list, with what you can get in a Seraphon list, just because it's got Croak, it's got, I think it's 70 skinks, it's got 3 Bastillodons that can all shoot twice, it's got CP, it doesn't need to summon because it's got a shit ton of stuff on the board, and yeah, -1 damage. It's the worst of all of the allegiance abilities, but it's still pretty strong, eh, Rob? Pretty
Yeah,
good.
very, very, very strong. It's interesting the kind of like feedback actually the -1 damage, because like how many of the big armies out there are multi-wound threats, like, or are doing multi-wound damage. Normally it's like weight of dice, and then single damage, right? So that -1 damage is kind of an interesting conversation, but like, yeah, like I really like it, and I'm with you. I completely understand that. Yeah, it's super cool, and it's interesting that still Seraphon are still, when you converse outside of Fangs of Sotek, so many options. That triple Bastillodon list is so much output, and looking at what we're facing against here, like yes, Daughters of Cain are pretty predominant, but if he runs into all those inch lists, he just runs through them. Like,
Oh,
just,
oh my God, it's going to be a massacre. It's just going to be like, okay, you've got 50 wounds in that unit of pinks of you. I knocked my headphones out. I was so excited
yeah,
about that. Wow.
and
That was
a lot of the guys in the chat saying it's been tough writing lists after the FAQ. I feel you and vibe. So my list of the show is I've already called it out, but I'm calling it out again. I don't know who actually. I didn't get a chance to write their name down. But it's the host duplicitous 50 pink horrors multitudinous host. Like, it's absolutely perfect. I love pink horrors. I'm a narrative gamer. I've always liked pink horrors. I think that they're beautiful. I like how they pop. I think it's super
I'm
fine.
leaving
All rules
the
are
podcast.
balanced and okay. Please send me my free copies of stuff. And it's just,
No, I'm
it's
back.
just.
I'm back.
um, but I'm down for that. I'm down for that. Like, I obviously never want to commentate it ever in 1,000 years. But you know, I also kind of want to watch. Actually, no, the Phoenix Guard would probably go through it. The Phoenix Guard would probably go through it. Like, that would be funny. That would be really funny. Like, turn 5, we finally, like, we've killed 3 Phoenix Guard and we're finally through the pink horrors.
I've got some notable, because we often do head, heart, and wild card, but at the
Okay.
same time, my yeah, we're all a bit drained from today, aren't we, Rob? It's been an effort, and we've still got the Titans-of-ghur lists to go as well. By the way, we'll have a quick look at those because we need to respect those boys.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say it would be remiss if we didn't talk about Seb's list. So this is Age of Sigmar. I'm going to go back. Now, I think it does tread the line. I'm going to put it in the chat now, actually. I'm just going to dig it up. It treads the line between memey and fun, but actually also really, really good. So I'm just going to put it in the list there
So
now.
just, but by the way, the guys in the chat, the meme/fun matchup is obviously the triple Bastillodons versus the 50 pink horrors. It's the dream.
Yeah,
It's the dream match that we want to see.
But yeah, so Seb's list, I've put it in the chat there, a quick link. It's Ideth Deepkin, Fwathan. He has an Achillean King who's -1 to hit and got some other stuff, who's called Splinter. He then has April's Film Crew, which is 3 Ishlean Guard. Rex One's Cops, which is 3 Ishlean Guard. Casey's Hockey Team, so that's 10 the Marty Thralls. There's a theme developing here. And then he has Leonardo, Donatello, Raphael, and Michelangelo. So that's 4 Achillean Leviathans, Rob. 4 turtles.
I know. I called it out before. 4 turtles, and I'm super into it. And actually, Mimi aside, memes, I reckon power in there. That's a lot of output, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Lord Win in the chat is saying, where is the rat.
Where's the rat?
Seb's the rat. Oh no, Splinter. Yeah, there we go. Splinter the rat is the Achillean king. It's the rat. Yeah, it's not Seb. It's the king. But yeah, D6 mortal wounds on the charge, some decent shooting, some nice combat, buffs the other stuff. The king can give them +1 attack, I think, rather than Volturnus spaffing. Fly around the board and blow stuff up. I think it's going to be great. I think it's kind of like the most 2021 list. You know, it's like, when have you ever seen a Leviathan and then you got bloody 4?
No, never.
But
and they're gonna, let's say it together, Leviathan slap. Like, let's just get this together now. Like that's a thing.
Yes.
So yeah, that's super fun.
Like with a fish, like a fish around the face. And then what about you, Roy? Any others that caught your eye as you were trawling?
I've got a heart choice. And
yes, go on.
Because my heart is made of wood. Yeah, it's the 21 Kurnoth Hunters bow spam heartwood list. Yeah, 25 tree revenants.
Yes.
Yeah, 21 Kurnoth Hunters with bows in heartwood. They're my heart. I want to see you 3-0 and take us out to the stars. That's what I want. I don't know if they're going to see it, but maybe. I was like, what's that good into? And I was like, yeah, nothing, everything. I don't know. We'll see. So that's my heart choice. Have you got a heart choice?
It's going to be I've got 2. It's going to be Maciej Majewski with his Skaven tired list. So that's the Plague Priest on Plague Furnace, another Plague Priest on Plague Furnace, a Plague Priest on foot, Epidemius the Tallyman, 100 Plague Monks, 3 Plague Core Catapults in the Foul Rain Congregation. I just think it's going to stink up the board, it's going to gam up the board, and it's going to just throw detritus and bile and spit at the opponent and hopefully win. It's captured my heart in a hail of bile. That's what it's done.
Right, yeah. So are we meant to be doing the draw, Owen?
Yeah, people are like, oh, come on, get on with it. I can do
only Benjamin though.
Oh, really? Has he got to get back to painting? Can you both stop talking and do the draw? Yes. Okay, fine. Yes, I mean, we're here.
Probably just
we're here for you
painting while he's doing it. Just saying.
Maybe. Yeah.
Doesn't look like he looks at the model when he paints it, right? It's just a.
Wow, you're going to be getting a DM in the next 10 minutes.
It's fine with me. You go on.
Yes. So Tim Martin's Blood Crushers list. He's got 4 units of Blood Crushers. I love that. I love Maciej's list. And yeah, I think I'm done there. So we can do 2 things for people who want to see the draw. We can do that, and also we can announce the battle plans, Rob.
Oh yes, please. Let's go. Battle plan announcements.
So. What have we got? Yes.
You enjoyed that podcast, guys?
Yeah, that was sorry, peeps. So for Hammer Time 7, we are going to be playing.
Is it 3 times Knife to the Heart?
It's not, unfortunately, or 3 times Battle for the Plast. Not for you, and 2. We are going to be playing. Round 1 is going to be Star Strike.
Yep.
Round 2 is going to be Blood and Glory.
Okay.
And round 3 is going to be Total Conquest.
Ooh. Okay. All right. Blood and Glory. Great choice.
Not often seen. I just
for a
figured.
Plan, not an event. Welcome to the show.
Yeah. So that'll be fun. That's and then for Hammertime-Titans-of-ghur, for those the real true heroes of the weekend, they're going to be playing Focal Points.
Yeah.
The Forest of Eyes.
What the fuck is that from?
That's from the Wrath of the Everchosen book. I will be releasing showing that. It's really good. It's like shifting objectives on crack. And also they're going to be playing Places of Arcane Power as the third.
Okay. All right.
And I'm going to be releasing maps for all those tonight. when I stop talking to you on the internet. Yeah, so that's that. So that's the battle plans that we're going to play.
Apparently, everyone, the fact that you've chosen Blood and Glory, apparently you've gone mad for power. I love that battle plan, though. It's a great battle plan.
Yeah, I mean, we can't play Blooming
Knife to the Heart forever.
No, or Scorched Earth. I think Blood. I like Blood and Glory because it's kind of it's.
Yeah, you did leave out the best battle plan of 2020, Scorched Earth. Why?
Because we play it every time. So
it's the best one though.
Yeah, I know, but it's like you don't want to eat bloody your favorite sandwich every day, do you? Because then it's not your favorite sandwich anymore. It's just oh god,
one straight year of jam sandwiches. We'll argue with that.
Okay, right. So let's do the draw, shall we, Rob?
Yeah,
Shall we do
please
the draw?
do.
We'll do the draw, and then we're going to have a look at Titans of Ghur.
Yeah, I don't want to fuck your system.
We'll have a look.
Yeah, because I still have like a billion overlay assets to make. So
what we're going to do is, Rob, you're going to do the draw, if that's okay. You've got admin access, so if anyone gets a bad round,
my God, you wanker,
or if by some absolute kind of glitch in the system, two players get matched against each other. I had a big Barney in my Discord last night. I think that would be really awful, but you can blame Rob, okay? So we're going to move swiftly on from that little bit of fun, and you're going to do the draw, if it's okay, Rob.
So let me just work out how I do this. So let me just go to the event. Hammertime 7. Okay, so I go to the event, which I have gone to, and then create matches. Is that what I do?
That's what you do, sir. Yes.
Oh wait, I could get it on the screen for people to watch if they wanted.
I think that's what everyone wants.
Hold on, let me just do this. There we go. Bosh. So create matches. Here we go. Computer machine says round 1, yes. Swiss, yes. Randomized tables, no. Generate the matches. Success. It's redirecting me. Here we go. Philip Cartiev against Leonardo Aldam Lopez. Casper versus Tom. Hugh versus Ian. Warmill Harry versus Luke Willoughby. Luke Willoughby got Warmill Harry. Tiger Sloth versus Colin Cochrane. Interesting. Tim Martin versus Tyler Buckets. Oh, Antu versus Matt Goddlesborough. So that's interesting. James Beeden versus Mitch Quadra. Benjamin Sava versus Gabriel Andrew. Inferno. Okay, all right. We'll have to break this down tomorrow. Echo Scorpion versus Mark Wilson. Interesting.
Let's see if I can pick out any others. Ooh, that is a big round 1.
Where?
Tavi Gain versus Alan Joins on table 23. They both do well, and obviously I've picked Tavi to potentially do well. That's going to be all the guns. That's triple Bastillodon versus, I think, 3 frigates and an ironclad and Vortex. So that's going to be everyone shooting at each other. Cool. Well, we won't go through every single one, but there's some. God, there's so many of them.
I know. There's a lot. There's a lot of fights. A lot to break down. But you will be able to obviously see this all tomorrow. We'll be doing live coverage of the event, so that'll be super fun. There's also another event on Sunday, the Titans-of-Ghur event, Owen.
Yeah, which is where the real players are playing. We've got 82 players playing Hammertime 7, but then we've got 32 Brave Souls playing in Titans of Ghur. So this is slightly more narrative themed, and every army had to bring a Mega Gargant. We can have a quick. There is a meta breakdown. Now this is interesting. You see, Rob, when you go from a tournament or an event that's super competitive and built as such to an event where people are like, bring an army that fits a theme, or bring an army that has some restrictions. And have you seen what we've got metadata on that and how it differs from Hammertime 7? It is quite a stark contrast.
It's significantly different, right?
Yeah.
So there's the data. So so in this situation, Chaos are one of the least represented factions, and Destruction are the most represented faction. So it's kind of flipped on its head. So I think that's quite interesting. A load of Bone Splitters, load of more tribes, some Flesh Eater Courts in there as well, and still some Seraphon. There's also Gloomspite Gits in there, which is cool.
Yeah. And I mean, it's all set in the realm of Ghur, so I think that you can visualize a lot of these armies rampaging around Ghur and generally having a lovely time. Also, I think whilst Bone Splitters is narratively correct for Ghur, there's also an element of people wanting to win there because they get like big stab. They get bonus damage against monsters, don't they?
They
So
do.
they're looking to take down the enemy Gargant. One thing that's interesting with the Titans of Ghur event is that you do get points for winning your game, but the main way that you're going to win the tournament is by getting Gargant goals. Did you have
Gargant
a
goals. Not
Gargant
yet.
goals?
Today.
I did send you the PDF if you wanted to open the pack, and we could have a look at a couple if that was something you wanted to do.
Sure. 1 second. Give me a bit moments to do that.
Um,
While
I'll ramble. I'm good at that. So yeah, basically, Titans of Ghur. The idea is that after the Necroquake, then the whole of Ghur got split and cracked, and regions got separated from each other, and everyone became a little bit more protectionist. So the idea is that all these different cities and towns basically have gathered together a militia force, and they've hired in a mega gargant because whilst the crops might be ruined and natural resources are quite low, there's loads of gargants everywhere and they want to fight. So basically the restrictions are there's like no named characters. You can't take more than 2 of any war scroll, so it should be fun. Like there's no spam. There's just a big gargant, and then everyone's been naming their lists and naming their heroes and stuff. So it should be a really fun day. So I think with the here we go. That's the pack. So yeah, we can ramble through that. But yeah, gargant goals. So these are the fun ones, Rob. So basically, for people to be able to win the tournament, they need to score these gargant goals. So there's all sorts of silly ones named after different things. So you've got ones to do with there's a specific one for each of the 3 mega gargants. So great feat for a big lad, complete 8 or more objective kicks. Temper tantrum is like when you can kill and throw 6 models with the war stompers ability. And then yeah, there's all sorts of silly ones in there which it just should make for a really fun day, so people aren't, because obviously even in competitive tournament, Rob, like when you did the hammer time and you had the mega boss and his relationship with that rock, it was a thing of beauty, wasn't it?
I've said this before and I'll say it again. As much as I enjoy doing live coverage and I like doing it in sports fashion, we do have to understand what our game is. Like like F1 is about the cars, right? Like it's cool that the guys drive the cars, but it's about the cars and the mechanics. Age of Sigmar, 40k, whatever it is, it's about the story, right? Like it's about the setting, it's about where we take place, and as much as there's the cool mechanics of how these work and the points efficiency. Ultimately, there is a story attached to all of it, which is one of the really great strengths of the game itself. Which is why my compliments to Games Workshop always on that is that they coalesce, right? These armies are playing together. So I'm very excited to cover this event. I know Dan Unsupervised is frothy to commentate on this event. So this is going to be really fun. And they're also really fun as well, like to be able to call them out, shout them out. I'm just hoping it's just going to be a really fun day in the Twitch chat. We can just get super weird into mega gargant stories. And maybe me and the mega gargants who've had a tough relationship since launch, maybe we can kind of heal that bond. Yeah, we'll bridge that gap.
Together. You'll come together. You'll break bread with a mega gargant. Imagine that. He wouldn't give you much, would he? You'd have a fucking crumb, and he'd be there eating the bakery.
So this is going to be super fun. So yeah, looking forward to this a lot. Looking forward to the weekend. Okay, again, Owen, I think everyone in the world should thank Owen for organising these events. Are you excited about the weekend? A bit nervous, so many people, or are you still cool and confident?
Oh yeah, it's fine. It's just it's more people, but it's the same challenges. So it's been this week, dealing with list issues and sorting things out. But yeah, I'm really the Sunday starts a bit later. We start at midday on Sunday, so I'm hoping to the stresses of the Saturday and dealing with intricate rules rules lawyering and things like that. That'll go away, and then we'll just have a good old blast on Sunday. I don't know if we've just got for 10 minutes, Rob. We'll have a look at a couple of lists.
Yeah, please do. Yeah,
it'd be nice because people have put a lot of effort in as well. in terms of here we go, a link. I'm going to get you a link now, sir. So yeah, I'll get a link to the list if people would like to read along. Some people are doing the weekender, Rob. Some people are doing both days.
I mean, I am. You am.
Yeah.
You are. You am.
Yeah.
Everyone listening is and am. The whole. We're in it together. I mean, not to be rude to everyone, but what the fuck else have you got to do? Let's get in it together. Let's do it. It's going to be super fun. I'm going to bring these lists up for you now, Owen. There we go. Have you done? You're not done the draw yet. So, image plus. There we go.
We can do the draw though. That's fine.
Right. Let's have a look at some of these lists, shall we?
Yes.
So Adam Jane's still doing his Death Army with his. Are they all named? This is super cool.
Oh yeah, some people have named there's one that we're going to get to, and I genuinely was urinating myself with laughter about it last night. It was great. So yeah, Adam he's had a bit of time away from being able to play TTS events, and he's back with a bang. So he's doing both days. He's a weekender. I need to come up with something snappy to title these players that come for the whole weekend. But yeah, so he's coming with. There's no restriction on which Mega Gargant you take as a mercenary in the pack, so you don't have to take the one that's just for order, or you don't have to take the one that's just for destruction. So that's been quite fun. So it looks like he's basically taken a similar Legion of Blood list, and then he's got a big undead dude to run around with them. Alan's list, I think Alan joins Legion of Grief list. I think he actually could do quite well with this. So his Mega Gargant is Zacharias the Everling, who's a one-eyed Grunnock. And then he's got a Dreadblade Harrow. He's got Manfred and Vlad von Karstein, along with Heinrich Kemmler and Helman Gorst. Are those all old Warhammer Fantasy? I know that the von Karsteins, but I didn't play Fantasy.
Yeah. Heinrich is, and Hermann Gorst is, yeah.
So Alan showing his chops there with some
his old world knowledge. He's also got a 220 Dreadside Halidans and a Mongol. That's cool.
Yeah. We're going to have a wild time, aren't we, Rob? We're going to have a wild time.
I'm going to be looking up a lot of War Scrolls.
And then Alex Tubb is bringing Big Bertha's Big Top Bonanza. So we've got Jumbo, the jaw-dropping giant, Big Bertha, the bonkers bareback rider. I mean, how much fun is it even just saying these words, right, Rob?
Ricardo, the ravishing ringmaster extraordinaire, and Giuseppe, the glorious Gobo Cannonball, who is a loon boss on Mangler Squigs, which is obviously hilarious. Yeah, they're really fun. They're really fun. What's Anthony Johnson running? Godseeker host, Keeper of Secrets, the concept, Keeper of Secrets, the artist. Then he's got a Bladebringer, two Bladebringers, one's Grievance, one's Grief. And then he's got Barak One Finger, the slave of the procession. That's fun. That's cool. I like that.
He's got a bit. Yeah, he's got a bit of lore at the bottom there, Rob. If you wanted to furnish us with that. The procession
of grace glides forwards with vicious ideals and little sympathy. Having enslaved a Gargant of some intelligence, the artist and concept both revel in the pain and torture of literally dragging this beast along with them. As they hunt for other great prey, they whip and torture poor Barak into a frenzy. Chariots racing forwards to guide the half-blind mad Gargant like an arrow right into whatever looks like it would cause the most resplendent chaos. That's brilliant. That's brilliant.
Exactly. If somebody put that army in front of you and said, "This is my theme," you'd be like, "Sweet, bring it in. Insert your army into me. This sounds amazing."
You are a narrative gamer like Rob. So congratulations. That's great. Fleshy Court's army, which is Blisterkin with some ghouls and horrors in the abattoir. And then he's got an Abhorrent Ghoul King of Terrorgeist, an Arc Regent, and a general who's a Crypthaunter Courtier is a general, right?
Lord Braxil the Slow, and then his Mega Gargant's called Nodge Sea Drinker, who is a whale biter. Oh, look at this! You know that Charles will have put some effort into his. We've got Charles Colonel Cabbage, some beasts. So he's got the notorious BIF. I think he's fresh from killing some stuff on the breakfast battles, if I'm not mistaken, Rob.
He is, yeah.
Yeah.
He absolutely is. But I think he's pretending that he's the Taurus BIF, so it's a Doom Ball. So it's the triple Doom Balls. No, just two, I think. And then the Great Bray Shaman, and I think he's pretending that his Mega Gargant is just an even larger Sigor / Beast of Chaos guy. Is the point. And then he's got some Bulgors, some Ungors, some Bestigor, Chaos Spawn, and a Gorgon.
So I've got some narrative on this one. If you'd like me to read it out quickly, Rob, we've got.
Please do.
It says in the narrative, the war herds have something called blood greed, the need to feast upon those they kill, which is why they heal after killing units. Gorgons are said to be Bulgors that feasted too much on the chaos-tainted flesh of other Bulgors, mutating them into colossal monstrosities. So he's not got a Mega Gargant, he's got a Mega Gorgon, Rob.
Amazing. Amazing.
A Gorgon that has feasted upon other Gorgons to become even stronger. So now the scent of all these Mega Gargants converging on a single place has drawn the attention of the beasts, and in particular the Mega Gorgon, who wants to feast on Mega Gargant flesh to become even stronger.
Oh my god, imagine the size of that Gorgon. He's going to be at least 180 points, maybe 190. 4 attacks, hitting on 5s. That's cool. That's really cool. I like that. Oh, Dayton O'Bray's playing. My man Mamdai's playing. That's crazy with a Flesh Eater Courts army. That's cool. He's going to be there. That's really fun. I'm happy about that. Frost, stop asking me my name. Frost is playing. He's got a Stormcast Eternal army with a Mega Gargant. Is interesting. He's got a Stormkeep Patrol with the Liberators. Interesting. Is there some story there?
I do like the way that they're basically his units are called, the Liberators are called Still Not Really Great, Are They? And the second unit is called Nope, Still Shite.
Judicators are wannabe Shadow Warriors, apparently. And his Gryphounds have all been named dogs 1 through to 5 and then Max.
Nice. I reckon that Frost's got a dog called Max. That would be what I'm thinking. And then his leaders are Doug, Brian, and Dennis. So some heraldic names there. So yeah, we won't go through everything. We should probably talk about Hippie Chefs. Hippie Chefs. He's got a mod so that his whole Flesh Eater Courts army is like a American football team made up of like undead ghouls and ghosts and stuff. So he's got that. We should probably put that on the stream actually, because he messaged me to say, can I use these models? So he's kind of got the whole army done to actually fit just for this tournament.
Are you now okay in conversions? What's next? A painting competition? Bring your best mod. Is that like a new trophy?
Yeah. Mod hobby prize. I'll come up with something snappy for it. But yeah, so he's got a Caretaker, Cheeseburger Eddie, Miss Tucker, Turley, and then he's got Brucey's Boys, Megget's Mob, Switovsky's Swarm, Battle's Blockers. So he's got a Royal Mordants battalion. So in Feast Day. So yeah, he's going to have some fun with that. I think we won't go through every single one, and apologies if we haven't read every single. There are a couple that I would like to definitely touch on though, which were the one that made me laugh so much is Ridge Hannah. I don't know if Ridge is still with us watching, but he's obviously leaning into the fact that he's taking a Kraken Eater Gargant who can kick objectives. So he's got a Seraphon army led by Frog Lampard. He's
nice.
then got Gary Lineker.
Okay.
Harry Canesaur.
If you listen, I pretty much got out of football whenever Roberto Baggio was in it. So, like, I don't. Some of these don't work for me, but yeah, they're great.
You know who Wayne Reptuni is, surely.
I do know, but only because of obviously Wagatha Christie Gate, as opposed to I came at it through social media, like jokes rather than football. But nice. I do, yeah.
So for any football fans out there, and then his Kraken Eater Megagon is called I'm Davy Beckham, which I find pretty amusing. And then his salamanders are called the Gunners, and his skinks are called the Red Devils, and it's just all very football related. And I can just tell that he had a good time and probably put a lot of effort into doing that. So, Ridge Hannah, well done, sir. Yeah. And the other one that I've got to touch on is Matthew MJ Pegasus. playing in his first TTS tournament.
MJ's playing. Yes.
MJ's playing, and he's bringing the Sylvaneth, and he's done some wicked wordplay. So he's bringing Dreadwood, and he's got a big Drog Fort Kicker Guardian, Mega Gargant, and he's called the BF Tree. BF Tree.
BF Tree,
that.
Nice. Like that.
And then everybody else is named after sort of pop culture and music references. So he's got a branch witch called Megan Tree Stallion, an arch revenant called Bark Simpson.
Like that a lot.
Branch wraith called Gnarly Quinn. And then he has a tree lord who is Julius Treaser. So all in all, and he's actually got a block of 9 Kurnoth hunters with scythes, which is going to wreck someone's face. So yeah, I think props there. But we could have mentioned any, and apologies to anybody that we haven't read yours out. But there's just so much good stuff going on, and I really appreciate everyone taking it on board and running with the theme. So I think that Saturdays for the tryhards, Sundays for the players. That's what I would say.
For the fun, and it's all going to be fun all weekend, right? For us,
yeah,
I think.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, don't sap me. They've all got gargants. Everyone's got a gargant on the weekend. That's the gimmick, basically. Not on the Saturday. Sorry, on the Sunday. So tune in for that. It's going to be super fun. All right, Owen, it's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Wow, yeah, that's been quite a day. I think I'm going to need to lie down now, analysing 82 lists and then bollocking on about them on the internet for 2 hours. Yeah, but that's fun. Yeah, good,
really fun.
Good to get a feel of sort of what people are thinking now that the FAQ's hit and everyone's really knows what to do with their army. It's really interesting to see how that's bled through into the list writing process, isn't it? Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, so we'll don't forget to tune in tomorrow. We'll be doing all this. Don't forget also to join us on Monday when, of course, so Saturday, Sunday, join us live for all of the coverage. Don't forget to join us Monday when there's not only the event coverage from this, but there's also the event coverage, the tournament roundup stuff from an event happening over in Australia as well in the real time. So GoldCon's happening this weekend, I think. Yeah. So join us for that. That's going to be super fun. Thanks for listening today. You're all super appreciated for being here. Thanks for listening to the podcast. Please stay hydrated. Go on, Owen. What you got?
Just got one last thing, which is for the Titans-of-ghur players. We'll do the draw for round 1 at some point tomorrow during the coverage of Hammer Time 7. If you're cool with that, Rob, you happy to do the draw during that day?
Super okay with that.
Yeah, we'll do the draw tomorrow, so look out for that. But looking forward to hanging out tomorrow.
Yeah, well, it's been lovely talking to you all. Thanks for being here. Thanks to everyone on Patreon supports us. Thanks to everyone who watches this. Don't forget, if you watch it on YouTube or wherever, smash subscribes, likes, comment. That leaves loads of good stuff. Do all that sort of stuff. You guys have been brilliant. Let's do a raid on Twitch. This should work. This will be super fun. Owen, love you tons. Twitch chat, love you tons. Talk to you soon. Bye.